Okay, hello YouTube and hello Facebook. It is normally Saturday and it's normally nighttime, but today it is, in fact, hold on a
Today
second.
is Tuesday.
Hold on one sec. I'm just not seeing it on.
I see it on Facebook.
Do you see it on Facebook?
Yeah. 18 seconds.
Okay, and I see it here on our live, I think, as well. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, welcome back, friends. Welcome back.
Please let us know if there's any audio issues.
Yes, make sure you put a comment if there's audio issues. We're still learning here, so it's yeah. And if you are watching, make sure that you always remember that if you are watching on YouTube, to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below, so that see how well it. Oh,
Yeah, I'm starting to get it. It's starting to come back.
okay.
It's so weird. It gives us like a minute or two of grace, and then it goes back.
Lana says the audio is great now. She just said that. Hello, Lana. Welcome.
Yeah, please let us know if it continues. I'm watching on Facebook. Apparently, it's good for Lana. So
yeah. So there we go. Okay. So we're just going to highlight this here. Handsome friends. Thank you, Lana. It's good to put that on the screen just to make sure everyone sees that Lana's handsome friends are here this afternoon. We're going to be quick, actually, because in fact I've got a meeting at 3:15 and it's about a 15-minute drive. Oh, Lana says there is a bit of crackling noise, so we're going to be right quick. Sound good, Brennan?
yeah, I can hear it. Sorry, I can't really. Sorry, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Oh, goodness.
I can hear you, but it's like I can't make you out. I can't understand you.
Okay, I don't know what.
Louder.
Look at this fancy microphone here. Let's
I believe this StreamYard seems so good at first. Minus this one issue.
Like this thing? Yeah.
Yeah, this software here.
Yeah. And did that change it all, the crackling?
No, it's still there.
All right, so we're going to move back to using the best one on my iPhone. Does that sound better?
Oh.
Does that sound good?
The car, yeah, it went away.
Yeah. So far the best option has been my iPhone microphone,
which is tragic.
Yeah, totally tragic and interesting technology though, because the fact that I'm not, in fact, this is in no way connected to that, but it's it'll do the trick, and I'll hold it like this so you don't get the fan noise from the computer.
You look like a CNN.
I look like the birthday boy, Wyatt Sharp.
Yeah. The young king.
Yeah, the young king. Okay.
How old is he now today? Did we sing 15, happy birthday yet?
15 years old. We've not sung happy birthday yet.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm
halfway
not sure
to 30.
You should make sure to point that out to him. Yeah. We did invite Wyatt to join us on the show, so we're going to catch up with Wyatt Sharp at some point. But today, we're not here really. I'm still with the show, but my good friend Brennan, you're in fact here today with who?
Yeah, Illinois Indigenous Communities Foundation.
And that's what we want to chat about really quickly, because we want to give folks, we've been working together, Brennan and I, for a year now on this idea. Mm-hmm. And the beauty is that sometimes things take a little longer than you expect, but then when they come to be, they're just the right thing at the right time, and it's perfect. And so we, in partnership with the Illinois Indigenous Communities Foundation, and Brennan and the team that works there, we have launched a project which we talked about in December called We're Listening. And it's an opportunity for as adults to hear from Indigenous young people between the ages of 13 and 18 throughout Atlantic Canada, and in the 5 regions, right? What are the 5 regions that Illinois works in?
Yeah, so we work in the 5 Atlantic regions of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador separate. Right?
Yeah.
It used to be the same. But...
So we have been doing a couple of things with the team here and supported by the team at Ulaweg to create space for young people to share their voices. And so 2 specific activities right now that are being undertaken. One is an online survey. And that survey, our goal is to have 100 young people, Indigenous young people through Atlantic Canada, take part. And it's our understanding that there hasn't been a project of this nature of its kind that has had the scope between our Inuit relations in Labrador and First Nations in Labrador to relations throughout the other Atlantic provinces, with a focus on creating these spaces for Indigenous young people to share how they're feeling, what they're thinking. And yeah. And so this is why Brennan, that's awesome. Yeah, exactly. And that is why he's not
called out.
Oh, goodness. And in fact, just a shout out to Andrew, who's part of our team with the We're Listening team, in fact. And Andrew is going to join us in Ottawa in February when we bring 20 Indigenous youth between 13 and 18 together to listen to the feedback from the surveys and help identify some calls to action or recommendations that can be brought back to the leaders in their communities, their school systems, their everywhere where young people are at, right? And not just limited to the First Nations or Inuit organizations, but the public schools that they go to, helping make sure that adults have this opportunity to that they have an opportunity to be able to listen to young people and act on these calls to action. And so we have 2 dates. The application for the in-person gathering taking place in February. It ends, when does it end? On January 29th, Atlantic time at midnight Atlantic time. So you need to get your application in. We have had a tremendous success with this, and it's going to be a tough job, Brennan, isn't it? It is going to be difficult to select the young people who will join us. But it is going to be amazing. A shout out to Tracy, our pal Tracy in Winnipeg. Hello, Tracy. Nice to see you. Great that you're here. So make sure you get your application in. The application is 2 parts. There's an online piece that you fill out, and then there's a second piece because we really want to select people that are the best fit. It's not about who's best, right, Brennan? Like, it never is about who's best, but it's about who's the best fit for that specific gathering. And this gathering specifically, we are going to look for young people who have had lots of experience, right? We're going to look for young people who have had no experiences. We're going to look for 13-year-olds and 18-year-olds. We're going to look for young people who are really connected to their culture, and maybe those who are wanting to learn and just beginning that process of exploring who they are. And so make sure by the 29th, that's next Monday, if I'm not mistaken, correct? It is. Today is not February 23rd.
Today is January 23rd.
January 23rd. And
the 31st is next Wednesday.
Yeah, so the registration for the event closes on Monday the 29th, and the survey is going to close on February 1st, the Thursday. And so make sure that both the online survey and the application, you get your voice heard. We want to listen. We really want to hear what you're saying. And already to date, we've really been seeing some amazing things. Like, it's pretty impressive. So right now, the majority of voices we've heard from, the majority of those voices are young women. And does that surprise you at all, Brennan?
No, because I remember when I first started working with you years ago in Kingston, it was actually the same thing with our Raised Voices and other events following that too. There's all like, it's just fun. It's a funny, like, you see in our old new communities, just like this universal thing where there's women just go out and do things a lot more.
And it's an important role that they carry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it certainly is an important role that they carry, but it's also, though, I think at times, because young men aren't always aware or understand how important their voices are. Mm-hmm. And so we want to give a shout out to the young men who are throughout Atlantic Canada. As Indigenous young men, you have an important well, you have important stories to share, and your voice does really matter. It is really significant.
And all
So
the things you go through matter too, like the bad things, the good things, the the tears, the happy laughter, like all that stuff is super important. And we want to make sure that everyone that comes to this event knows that their whole experience is valuable, and
exactly.
to empower them to be able to share it, right?
So young men, start with that survey. So far, a third have been men, and we want to hear your voices, but we also want to invite and ensure that trans and gender diverse youth share your ideas as well. And we've had participation from folks who have identified in that way. But if you're watching this today, just know that your voices and your ideas and your experiences matter to us, and we want to hear that. And I think sometimes it's important to make those specific invitations, because there are a lot of parts of our communities who have felt that no one is not only listening, wants to listen. And in this process and in this space, we really want to be able to, hear your voice. And Lana does say, plus many youth don't speak up because they don't feel that anyone cares. And that is true. I think that's so true. But know that we care about what you have to say, and we're going to take what you have to say as sacred. And we're going to take that sacred gift you give us, which is your voice, and we're going to bring it to those young people in Ottawa who are going to listen to those voices and create powerful messages back to adults that can be carried back throughout Atlantic Canada. So just know that if you participate in that way, that your voice is going to be cared for. So it's been great in looking at the survey responses that almost 90% of respondents have felt that as an Indigenous young person in Atlantic Canada, that they feel like they matter to others, their community, or just in general. How does that make you feel to know that large number of young people have identified that they feel that inside, that they matter?
Oh man, it made me feel so good when I read that. Like, yeah, because like I always remember that being a big thing growing up. Was a lot of people just like, oh, like I don't matter, my opinion, my opinion doesn't matter, my effort doesn't matter, like whatever, you hear that a lot growing up around community. So like to see that change, and maybe it isn't a change, maybe it's just something I haven't seen, but like, yeah, it's just so beautiful to see and super like motivating, and like, yeah, just like super hopeful. I love it. Like that's
Yeah.
I think, oh no, we just had a conversation this morning with our team meeting, a large team meeting with some of our senior staff, and um, just kind of reflecting on the programming that we've been doing in the past like few years, and the data we've been getting, and just kind of seeing that shift right now. You're starting to see in our communities in Mi'kma'ki, and probably just nationally too across Turtle Island, but this shift where the youth are starting to heal the adults, right? Like the children are healing the parents, and it's like that intergenerational trauma is kind of like intergeneration turning into intergenerational healing, right? And so like that's like that 90% people saying that they matter, they feel like they matter, like that's a quantifiable way to say that. I think it's beautiful. It's so cool. It's super exciting.
It really is, isn't it? It really, really is. And it's as well as knowing that people are important. So not, even though some folks didn't feel that they were important, as Indigenous young people, more than 80% said that they did feel that to others and in their community and in general. But likewise, not everyone felt that they belonged. 16% said that they didn't belong. They didn't feel like they belong, or they were unsure. And so this is help for us as adults to learn, because it means we can keep working to ensure that young people, because 16% is still a lot. And so we can help make sure that young people know those three things, really, right? That they matter, they're important, and they belong. And so it is some of the pieces that are coming from this are really helpful like that, because it's going to help adults understand in Atlantic Canada that this is an area they need to work on, is making sure their spaces and places are welcoming, are visible, that people see themselves in those spaces and places. They see themselves in the staff. All those steps and things that people can do to help people feel like they belong, they can take it on. And I want to just give a shout out to Lana here. This is an amazing project, so very important. You two are literally so phenomenal, because I know the work you both do comes straight from your hearts. big hearts. If I wasn't holding my iPhone as a microphone, I'd make the other half.
Oh, that's the wrong side.
There you go. We are, but one of the other interesting things that we asked folks was we wanted to talk not just about the challenges, but the strengths. And so it was really kind of cool because we got to hear from young people these really important messages about what they saw as their strengths. And as you see on the screen here, right? I guess we could take off that other one. Sorry, one second here. I've got this other one just floating along here. I don't know why it is.
The one on the screen now?
Like the little one here.
Living with my grandmother may provide strength due to the deep cultural and familial connections that contribute to a sense of identity, support, and resilience.
Like, that's beautiful.
Feel that, man.
Yeah, like, just amazing, right? And it's and I feel my strongest strengths are helping others, respectful, and creativity. I do my best to help others in whatever ways I can, as well as try to be respectful with said help. Like, this is what change looks like, right?
And these are future leaders, right? Like, these are like the people that can identify these things in themselves and want to build on that. Like, those are future leaders, right? They don't always look like the successful person or someone who's working full time, or like they come in all different forms, right?
Yeah. Well, and I would even suggest that these are the leaders today, right? Like,
no, you're right.
You're right. They're going to be the future chiefs. They're going to be the CEOs. They're going to be the entrepreneurs. They're going to be the artists. They're going to be the change makers. They're going to be the activists. But they're also showing us their leadership, right? And the big connection, so many of them talk about that connection to culture. Like this young person who shared this, there are lots of challenges, and we can't pretend that there aren't across the country that Indigenous young people face, Inuit, First Nation, Métis. But at the same time, you have things like this. Like, I'm very proud to take part in my culture. I love sharing my experiences and teachings that I've been shared with. I'm passionate about myself and where I come from. That is just magic, I think. It is, and in the way the answers of the youth have so far been weighted, we weighted the answers, right? So we asked them about serious issues. And so based on all the answers and the options, while substance use and abuse by young people was in the top 5 most serious issues facing Indigenous young people, the survey respondents shared, what is interesting to me is that substance use and abuse by adults was weighted as the most serious issue facing Indigenous youth. And the irony of that is that it is a group that, like, that's not theirs to carry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the greatest challenge that they see is, in fact, the substance use and abuse by adults. And I'll be curious to see what comes out of Ottawa around that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly as well, ranked as serious by the most people. So not in the weighted version, right? So when you take all of the answers into effect, the weighted answer is like the most serious. But those who identified as serious, the most people was the experiences of racism and discrimination based on being Indigenous. And it matters that we share that. As I said, in the weighted outcome, it's not in the top 5, but it certainly was the one that the most people identified as serious. And ranked equally serious as that one in the same numbers was not having space to be heard or listened to by adults and leaders. And I think it matters that the Inuit Indigenous Communities Foundation is taking on this work to be able to address that. So if you've ever felt at home, or young people who feel like they haven't been heard, encourage them and get them to the website and get them to that survey, and make sure that they have the opportunity to be able to take part and have their voice heard. That's what we really need in this last week, is adults to help encourage, right? Young people in your lives. Do you know if your younger siblings have filled it out?
I think they did. I'm pretty sure I got them to do it right away. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's now time for adults.
To.
Yeah. To ask them if they have, and if they haven't, send them the link and say, your voice matters, right? We care about what you say. And that's what we're needing from adults to be doing as we move forward into this last week. So yeah. So as we get ready, it is basically our last week of collecting data. In February, we're going to gather. And we're going to hear from all that data. Young people are going to create create calls to action and recommendations, and we are so excited for that. We had another meeting with the property, the venue yesterday, and everything is set up. And so we are we're so excited to welcome you to Ottawa, to the nation's capital, and to Algonquin unceded and unsurrendered territory. It's a real privilege to be in that territory and to be visitors there. So yeah, I want to share a video. Should I share a video about what these events look like?
Yeah, as long as we're gonna cut it right after, I say, as long as the audio messes up.
Yeah,
I think it should be good though.
I think so. We're gonna play the short one actually about this project specifically, just so that you folks can see and. There you go. So we are listening, and is that there? We are listening. Thank you, Brennan, for taking time out of your day. And we are so grateful, as always, to have any opportunity to work with Unaweg. And hopefully we'll work even closer. We have there's a very exciting secret conversation happening in the world right now, and maybe and I wrote your name down on something today. So who knows if that secret will come to be or not. But my friends, thank you to all the adults across Atlantic Canada who have been encouraging young people to take part. It really does. It not only matters, but it matters to me and our team. Thank you to the team at Unaweg who's spreading and sharing. And if I can task you, Brennan, with the job of reaching out to your other colleagues, the other engagement officers, and saying, hey, let's send this link to 10 people we know. And if you each did that, we will more than certainly surpass our goal of getting a good percentage of Indigenous young people in Atlantic Canada. So with that said, have a great Tuesday, everyone. And Brendan and I will see you on Sunday night, 7 o'clock, right here live on YouTube and on Facebook. And hopefully with no audio issues. Thank you, Brendan Gugu.
Thank you, brother. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
There we go. Ending this.